So right in the beginning here, I noticed that it started consolidating after a downtrend, and it broke out of that downtrend, and I knew that if it could hold above that EMA and break that VWAP that it had some ground to cover. And I noticed by the momentum that it was going to do that, so I took a position just before the VWAP line, and sure enough, it just goes right up. The price broke out past the VWAP, and it had a slight resistance right there, and it broke that as well. So I knew it was going to go up a little bit. I noticed that it had an indecisive candle, and then it just wasn't really moving anymore, so I decided it was probably best just to go ahead and close the position. And sure enough, right after I closed the position, it drops right off down to the support now, and I'm sure that it's going to bounce, but I just wanted to go ahead and cover my profits. So here I start to see a ascending triangle in the pattern, but right as I do, we have that red candle, and I'm starting to feel a little iffy about it, and then it drops even further, and the wick is just kind of not really forming it for me as much anymore, so it kind of made that pattern invalid. So I just decided to wait a little longer and see what it did, and sure enough, it pushed down to the VWAP. The stock started to fall off. It broke below the EMA. I was able to identify a trend line as well. And I decided once it broke that middle VWAP, I was going to take a short position right here. And it begins doing that right now. So I'm getting ready to take my position, and then it just drops a lot. And I start thinking, oh, this fell a lot. It's very volatile, and it might pull back when I take my position. So I kind of hesitated to take it, and then it just dropped too much. After the big drop, I decided I would at least wait for another candle to form and wait for a small pullback. And then when it pulled back, I would go ahead and short the position because I really feel like it's going to go all the way down to the support line. And I have a lot of resistance up there with the VWAP, EMA, and my trend line. So I was going to set my support just above all those three. So it pulled back just a little bit, and I didn't see a lot of pullback pressure, so I figured it would probably begin to decline again. And sure enough, as soon as I took the position, it just went right up. It just skyrocketed back up to those resistance levels. And if I was not on my first day, I probably would not have set my stop loss mentally right here. But I just kind of panicked with already being green on the day. I didn't want to ruin that, so I went ahead and stop lossed it as soon as it went above the VWAP. That wasn't really a good idea to do because right here there's still an EMA as well and the trend line that I drew. And sure enough, right after I stopped myself out, it bounces off that EMA and just follows the pattern that I thought it was going to. So it was a simple pullback that it had, but I couldn't handle it. And it all goes back to just following your plan of action that you created with your entries and exits. I knew that I had a lot of resistance levels up there, and it tested my first resistance level, and I panicked and just sold out of the position, and it was just simply a pullback. And if I had just followed my plan, I would have made a pretty good profit, and it went all the way to the support, which I thought it would.